because that's what happens. But they were like, well, we're sorry. And I'm like, no, it's cool. It's a donation. Let's jump to this story from the Post-Millennial. Jack Smith to resign before Trump inauguration. According to a report, Trump has promised to fire Smith within 2 seconds of being sworn in. I think how much? Okay, let's take a bet, right? So Jack Smith he's the guy who's leading the federal charges against Donald Trump. They've been dropped, and now he's going to retire. How many of you guys here think that some of these guys, maybe even Jack Smith, will flee the country?
That's. I haven't thought about that, but
I'm going to go ahead and say it's a 100% guarantee that at least one will flee the country.
Yeah,
at least one.
Well, Michael Cohen's already said he was going to do it.
Because of the Matt Gaetz appointment?
Because of Trump winning.
But in general,
and
because he'll actually put in people in charge that can go after people that were using lawfare against him.
Man, I mean, I have to assume, especially with the Matt Gaetz appointment. Yeah. So when I heard about the Matt Gaetz appointment, I said, holy crap, that's not a shot across the bow, okay? That was Trump aiming the cannon at the enemy ship and then waving and saying, yeah, I hope you're ready for Inauguration Day. You're all going to get arrested. We're going to charge you guys. We're going to investigate everything. If Trump had appointed someone, not Matt Gaetz, but maybe like a DC insider that we kind of liked, you could call that a shot across the bow where it's like, yeah, he's getting serious, play ball, guys. The Matt Gaetz appointment is him being like, what's coming next will make you angry.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder who knew what a couple of days ago when Trump's attorney said, listen, Letitia James, you better stop or we're going to put your fat ass in prison.
That was wonderful.
You got to think, we know what's coming. Like, we know what's in the arsenal here. We know what nuke is in the silo. The difference between Jack Smith doesn't have Donald Trump-type funding and backing to be able to fight the lawfare if it comes his way. I mean, they start going after Jack Smith, his life is ruined. It's over. It's done. And I mean, these guys, they literally signed the dotted line. They signed their own death warrant when they went after Trump. Because again, they had every expectation of winning this thing and never having to face any consequences. But here we are. I mean, it's gonna be a fun time to watch. It really is.
That was crazy because, like you said, I assumed that they can't imagine there's ever going to be a time where they're actually going to lose. Yeah. So they're willing to put these types of things into play, knowing that if it does work out against them, but they haven't lost for so long. Outside of 2016, It's been swamp monsters forever, so they don't even know what it's like to lose.
Short-term thinking has been kind of the standard. I mean, you look at the talk of getting rid of the filibuster, right? There was all kinds of people that were all for it up until Donald Trump won, and then just today, Jayapal said, oh, no, well, now that we're not in power, I wouldn't support getting rid of the filibuster, which speaks
no expanding the court now either.
Yeah, and it speaks to the fact that these people don't care, and I've said this multiple times, they don't care about the structure of the U.S. government. They don't care about federalism. The only thing they care about is exercise of power.
Right.
They want to exercise power, and anything that in any way inhibits them from exercising power is bad. Not, maybe down the road this could be used against us. I mean, Harry Reid screwed up with getting rid of, I think it was the filibuster that he got rid of in the Senate or whatever. Oh, I think it was the 60%. And either way,
the Supreme Court appointments too.
Well, that led to him. Yeah. Mitch McConnell said, you're going to regret this.
Yeah.
You're going to regret doing this. We said that we weren't going to change the rules, and you changed the rules.
Did you see the...
We agreed to it. You're going to regret this. And he did immediately.
Did you see the report from Daily Wire? It was Ash Short, where she said she called all of the Democrat members who had been in favor of ending the filibuster to get their comment on whether they wanted to end the filibuster now. Every single one was no comment. Or did not respond to the question.
Yeah,
because now they want to keep the filibuster. Do they want to expand the Supreme Court? It's like Seamus was saying. Donald Trump should offer an olive branch to the Democrats and say the first thing we're going to do is give the Democrats what they've been begging for the past couple of years. We're going to reach across the aisle and we are going to push through Democrat legislation, which is ending the filibuster and expanding the Supreme Court. We'll be, of course, appointing 4 more Supreme Court justices on January 21st, and that's all for you, Democrats.
And the irony being that once you did that, they would cry about federal overreach, despite the fact that when they're in power, they don't care that they do the same thing. It's infuriating.
You remember when Democrats hated the Electoral College, and it was all about the popular vote?
Yeah.
That's why him winning the popular vote was the chef's kiss.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing because now it takes whether it's the filibuster, the popular vote, or whatever, it takes all of the arguments away from them. Because and that was the crazy thing. We talked about it numerous times. How come, and of course we know why no one asked Kamala Harris any hard questions about things like court packing, because they were all paid. These were just, her interviews were just paid advertisements, right? But why did they never ask her the hard questions about what her full intentions were? Mm-hmm. We knew what they were. Nobody wanted to talk about those things.
When she was campaigning back in the primary for the Democrats in 2019 and 20, she was explicit on all of her ideas. Yeah. And she lost miserably, didn't get a single delegate. This time around, when she was running, she was like, "I better say nothing."
Yeah,
and so that's how she went.
Yeah, and then suddenly she supported fracking. She had a Glock. She was gonna shoot whoever broke into the house. She was a pistol packing VP mama.
In California, where granted she would be insulated from the law, but if any normal people did that, they would go to jail. They would be charged with murder, and it is unlikely that it would be found to be justifiable. The Democrats, and I've said this multiple times lately, Democrats hate America. They hate the American system. They hate the American people. They only care about exercising their power. They don't like the fact that people are empowered by their own natural rights to do how they want, and those rights are protected by the Constitution and by the Bill of Rights. They hate all of those things because they know better. You're just a dumb idiot. They know how you should be living your life, and the fact that you would want to live your life in a way different to what they tell you makes you a bad person.
And as they say, this is why everyone who's a Democrat goes to a 4-year college and then goes and gets 8 years of schooling, because everybody else is a backwater hick idiot, not understanding, maybe it's time for just the tiniest bit of introspection, just the tiniest bit of looking inside and asking yourself, maybe I'm the problem.
I'm going to keep saying,
why are we entertaining people who got degrees in folklore and mythology? Why are they entertaining their political opinions? Now, to be fair, that is the least likely degree someone could get. That's why I chose it. But most people get degrees. If you took all these people, I'm going to be completely honest. If you took your average American with no degree, and you took your average American with a degree and dropped them in a random place in the middle of the woods, which one do you think is going to be more likely to survive?
Yeah, it ain't going to be the guy that studied sociology for 4 or 5 years.
No, it's going to be the dude who tends to chickens every day in the morning. His hands are in the mud. His net worth is very, very little. His house is fallen apart, but he knows how to make it.
Yeah.
And this is the point. He may not be as well read as a college graduate, but it's the people who have to figure out how to survive who are going to survive. And the people who take out loans so that other people pay their bills so they can go and get a degree in folklore and mythology aren't going to be able to figure this one out. So those people who get those degrees decide to go vote, telling the people who actually know how to survive, how to live their lives, it's backwards.
And they talk about it now when kids come out of college and they get their first job in whatever industry they're going into. They're saying that the people who hire them, they're saying they're unteachable. Like they do not know how to learn on their own, right? They say, here's a task, go do this task. They say, you need to teach me how to do every step of this task. Like, what did you go to school for? The whole point is that I assume that you getting your 4-year degree or 8-year degree meant that you had some ability to figure something out for yourself. But everybody knows that college does not teach you how to think for yourself. It certainly doesn't teach you how to actually act in a way that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the deal. When you have 30-year tenured professors who've lived their entire career in an academic bubble on a university setting, pushing their little papers around on a desk and testing their wild-eyed theories on, with Marxist backing and socialist ideals on impressionable young minds that are out away from mom and dad for the first time in their life. They've never tested those weird theories in the real world. And now you have a bunch of kids. This is why the strategy of the robes worked, whether it was the clergy, whether it was academia, the courts. This was the long walk. This was the long march. This is what the communists, the socialists, the Marxists, they knew if they did it little by little, they could brainwash people. So now you know, I'm telling people, somebody asked me the other day, a young man asked me, he said, what do you think about college and university? I said, if you have a very specific purpose in going, I mean, a
doctor,
like
lawyer.
You're going to be a brain surgeon, you're going to be an engineer, something like that, then okay, go with that express purpose. But beyond that, stop funding bad ideology and walking away from it because we're wasting young minds in the name of education, which is not education at all. So we've churned out a bunch of people who are completely unaware. They might have a degree, but they don't have an education. They don't have common sense.
They think they do.
They think they do, and that's what
That's
makes
scary.
them pompous assholes.
I mean, the same thing.
Go ahead.
But the same thing holds true. Like anything that you have to actually physically do yourself will stick in your brain better anyways, and that's the problem. We're talking about the idea of physically going out and doing a task, which your brain retains better anyways. So if you're going out and you go to like film school, for instance, like I went to school for video production, and you learn everything about f-stop, aperture, and all these things. It's one thing to read about it, and then it's another thing to go put yourself into a bunch of different situations that forces you to engage with the material in front of you with your equipment. And that is the difference between somebody who goes out into the world and engages with it and somebody who works in the theoretical. And we talk here in the theoretical, but that is very different from the people who have to go out and live it every day.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.